Hi guys, it's Joey, and this video is going to be me sort of talking about reconnection to the self. I've set it up in front of my fox totem kitsune altar, and some people will have seen this before, so apologies if you've seen it before, but it's kind of a symbolic connection back to the self. I'm going to talk a little bit about the symbology behind it and why have a totem altar, just in brief, before I sort of go on forward. I had this packed away and I hadn't thought to get it back out again, which I guess is kind of symbolic of losing a sense of self in some ways. And it had been put away as part of the cleanup when we were expecting inspection, which didn't happen, and it remained packed away for a number of reasons, and in the end I decided it was time to arrange to get it back out again. I've placed it between my seasonal altar, which doubles up for Esbats and Sabbats and general spellworking altar, and then the Morrigan altar. And it's actually slap bang in the middle of sort of a creative space where I keep things and keep my oils and things and move things around and create things and start the creation process. And for me to be between those two pillars of spirituality, as well as right back smack bang in the middle of my creativity, is pretty much where I belong, I guess. And the fox totem is about connecting with your inner self, celebrating your inner self. I have a spiritual guide who's a fox, or a kitsune as well, and it kind of merges a little bit of that Japanese influence that comes up from time to time within my path, which generally speaking I don't always know how to fully incorporate it into a path which is basically Celtic, strictly Celtic. I don't merge paths particularly, and whenever it comes up it's a little bit of an odd thing for me to sort of feel. I've had some interesting meditations whereby Morrigan gave her permission to work with the kitsune energy as long as she was sort of primary, and of course she always is. So there's that. And of course the fox has Celtic significance, so it's not without the similar energies and things. But I decided to reset it up and put everything back out here to really reconnect with who I am and who I want to be. And I want to make it really clear here that who you want to be is not a sum of what you do alone. And by, we seem to define ourselves in terms of things that really we shouldn't term pillars of ourselves, materialistic things. We tend to define people in modern consciousness by what job they do, as if what they do is who they are. And there is a huge amount of value judgment in these spheres. Value judgment which I have come up against time and time again, because I really don't want to fit into a box that is predefined by what society says we should do, because I feel there is a huge amount of ugliness attached to that. There's a huge amount of the more you're working to define yourself by what you have, the more you lose who you are inside. I honestly believe that. People have to do jobs to survive, or they have to find ways of making money to survive. And we can't all do what we really want to do. There are some people who are really lucky and can, and some of us who have the opportunity to try and carve out our own way. But that doesn't come without judgment from those who work the sort of standardized jobs, and nastiness on a lot of different fronts. I've had nastiness from people who work regular style jobs, telling me how worthless I am because I'm trying to carve out my own way of doing things. I've had people tell me I'm lazy and what I do is easy because, you know, trying to set up your own business and all the rest of it is easy apparently. And that, you know, I've had who I am as a person criticised from that angle. I've had other people trying to bring me low in other ways, and I feel everything very acutely, and me learning to block out the hatefulness of some people is a huge lesson that I am being forced to go through again and again and again. And it's depressing as hell because I suffer with depression anyway, and I feel everything really acutely, and I'm quite introverted now because I do feel everything quite so acutely, and learning to find the balance between accepting who I am and not allowing people to railroad me with their crap is such a difficult process. It's like, how do I find the balance between shutting all my emotions off and not allowing people who are trying to emotionally harm me, purposefully or not, harm me? And I guess a lot of people might say, well, just don't let them, like that's an answer. And I think that's the same sort of mentality as telling a depressed person to just cheer up, or, you know, telling someone with an eating disorder just to eat more food or eat less food or whatever. Just get over it. And I really find that mentality cold, uncaring, and unhelpful, because at some point you have to decide for yourself that you want to not be something anymore or change your reactions to things. And the only thing you can do is change yourself. You can't force other people to change. And, you know, that sometimes is a really difficult thing to accept, because especially when you follow the Morrigan in honour and in truthfulness, you want to be the best person you can be. And, you know, because I guess it's not just about the Morrigan though, because if you really are sort of engaging and are devoted and inspired by any god or goddess, then you want to be the best that you can be as a human being. You want to reach your full potential, and you might not even need to be spiritual to feel that energy within yourself. Like, I want to be the best that I can be. And I think unfortunately some people think the best they can be is by these predetermined social materialistic role, like the best I can be is what I own, and having a home and having a house and having stuff. And the thing is about stuff, whilst it's great and we can utilise things to help us in all manner of ways, you know, it's not going to make you the best person that you can be. And the best person you can be is more about a journey of self-realisation, reflection, admittance of fault, and sort of the determining of what you will and won't allow. And I've gotten to the point where, like, if something really is destructive to my life, to my emotional well-being, and that has a knock-on effect to my physical well-being and my spiritual well-being, then I'm just at the point where I'm just not going to allow it anymore. And I still have a sense of guilt whenever I do it, because I'm not one of those people that's just like okay with you know, just jamming down on people, like, you know, no, I'm not okay with it, but like, I can't change the behaviour of other people. So if they decide to engage in something which they likely know is going to be harmful to either a person in general or a person in specific, that kind of is a major turn off for me, and I'm like, I don't need that in my life, and then I just have to step away from it, and it brings an incredible sense of loneliness. And I was talking to a friend today, and she was like, you need to start celebrating the people who are there, even if they are few. And she's incredibly right about it, and I'm like, okay, so I have to start just focusing on the people who are there time and time again, who mean what they say, who honour what they say, and are truthful to me, and are friends, are real honest to God friends. And I have such trouble trusting people. And as people know from the Dark Goddess healing video, I let someone into my life and I shouldn't have, and it really threw me for six. It really did. And I was just like, oh, okay, right, okay. Oh, sorry. My sister tells me off for making this noise. Whenever I'm really angry or really bothered by something, I click and suck my lip. So she's probably listening, and I'll probably get a phone call later. You're turning the noises again. and playing with my bracelet that Bella sent me. That's not my mouth clicking, that's me doing that. Sorry, sidetracked. It's not selfish to engage in the needs of the self, and that is something that I have been struggling with, because I think people really do use that sort of thing as an excuse to be mean to people. Spirit told me I'm not to be your friend anymore for no damn good reason, you know. Or, I'm never going to tell anybody what they can and cannot do, and therefore anybody who sort of uses that sort of behaviour to try and force people into one behaviour or the other, I don't respect that at all. And I've seen it done, and I'm trying everything in my heart and soul to be aware of what I say and do as I go through giving myself what I need to make sure that I am not pressuring anybody else to behave in any other way, because I don't like it. And I was thinking about guilt trips and things last week, and didn't make the video about guilt tripping, because I was just like, if I make a video about guilt tripping, there's going to be oh wow, who are you talking about? And it's like, well, I've seen it a lot in my life from a lot of different places and a lot of different people, and I never like it. But again, you have to focus on the behaviour of yourself, because you can only really change yourself, and if you let other people's behaviour bother you, then you end up in a mess. And I've kind of lost my self-worth a little bit, because I focused too much on the negative actions of other people towards me, and I have to sort of draw a breath, refocus, and remember that I deserve positive treatment. I don't deserve the catcalling or the name calling or the gossip bitching or passive aggressive stuff or any of it. I've tried to be honest in my dealings with anybody who comes into my life, and if somebody becomes a destructive influence, then I remove them, you know, and that's it. I'm done. Once I'm done, I'm done. I try to be honest and decent with people as much as I can, and I do have trust issues, which I'm not going to say they're justified, but because some of it is me, and then some of it is other people, and it's difficult to know what to really say in that situation. Like, you've just let someone in and then they've screwed you, so it's kind of really difficult for me to be like, oh, it's totally just me and my stuff, because it's not just me and my stuff. It's that people do, for whatever reason, engage in these deceptive, horrible behaviours. And, you know, I had that I let someone into my life and they really, really hurt me, and I had to even make the video where I was like releasing that from myself just to help me get over that. And now I'm trying to focus back on me rather than allowing anybody else to have any form of power over whom I want to be. And that, I think, is the key difference. It's like, it's when you're thinking about who you want to be, but it's not at the detriment of anyone else. It's like, we live in a society which encourages this dog-eat-dog mentality, like screw over whoever you have to get where you want to go. And it's why I actually quit law. Like, originally I wanted to be a lawyer, and when I got to university, everybody was like that. Like, I don't care who I have to tread on, to screw over, to betray, as long as I get where I want to be. And I was so disgusted with that mentality that after a couple of weeks I was like, I can't do this. It's gonna claim my soul. It's gonna ruin me, and I can't do it. And I didn't do it. That's not to say all people are the same, or people who are lawyers are the same. It's just that was my experience when I went there, and I was just like, I can't do this, and I didn't. So